Yeah, it was I guess copyright, but I thought that just meant that they take the revenue, right? I don't know why they completely blocked the whole stream. Crazy. I know, it's like, what the fuck? I'm literally just going over a video, pausing it, I'm giving my commentary, you know, I'm showing it for educational purposes. You know, it's a very small section of this long live stream, and yet they still remove it? Like, what the fuck? Fucking bullshit. Alright, I'm gonna do this next one, and we'll see if, we'll start it from the beginning and see if anything happens. I'll try to like pause it and comment and stuff like that. I mean, you guys are commenting here, so again, I don't understand what the issue is, but again, it's just part of trying to silence, you know, real people. You know, these are part of the tactics.
But an experiment is not a public opinion poll. It examines behavior under the pressure of social forces, as the experiment of Solomon Asch reveals.
The experiment you'll be taking part in today involves the perception of lengths of lines. As you can see here, I have a number of cards, and on each card there are several lines. Your task is a very simple one. You're to look at the line on the left and determine which of the three lines on the right is equal to it in length. All right, we'll proceed in this order. You'll give your answer.
I know, that would literally mean that all reaction channels, which is like a lot of fucking reaction mainstream channels, they literally, all their videos should be removed then. They're literally playing someone else's video, which again, you have the right to, you know, comment and criticize, you know, but apparently, you know, on this platform it's not allowed, but...
One of the people in the group is a real subject, the fifth person with the white t-shirt. The others are confederates of the experimenter and have been told to give wrong answers on some of the...
What's up, one man? Nice to see you.
...trials. The experiment begins uneventfully as subjects give their judgments.
2. 3. 3.
But on the third trial, something happens.
2. 2.
The subject denies the evidence of his own eyes and yields to group influence.
1.
Asch found subjects went along with the group on 37% of the critical trials. But he found through interviews that they went along with the group for different reasons.
1. They must be right. There are 4 of them and 1 of me. 1.
This subject's yielding.
I like this guy's reaction. He just looks very genuine, you know, like he looks confused. Like, what the fuck are these was saying? Like, his reactions are pretty priceless, you know. They kind of put the video together, in my opinion. So this is a good video, you know. Anybody wants to search this one, it's called the Asch line experiment. That, you know, you want to show it to a friend or something, right?
Is based on a distortion of his judgment. He genuinely believes that the group is correct.
1. 2. 1. 2. 2. I know they're wrong, but why should I make waves? 2.
In this case, the subject knows he is right, but goes along to avoid the discomfort of disagreeing with the group. Here, the distortion is at the level of his response.
2.
In the previous experiment, the naive subject stood alone against the group. In this variation, Asch gave the naive subject a partner, here seated in the third position, who also gives the correct response.
1.
Yeah, the waiting room one is good. It just shows how people easily conform to others. They look for others for approval in a way, so they don't want to be judged, so therefore they do what the group does, right? I feel like this one kind of highlights people denying their reality just to conform. Like, they know they're right, you know, but it just shows how strong peer pressure is. Basically, it just highlights how strong that peer pressure is. Even though you know that's the right answer, you know, the majority said it wasn't. So, you know, I don't want to feel uncomfortable when I say the right answer, because everybody's going to look at me like I'm the only one that said the right answer, right? Or a different answer, in other words. In their mind, they're actually like battling, like, like they're questioning themselves a little bit, you know, if you ask me, right? But again, it's just the peer pressure, you know, that makes that happen, you know.
2. 1.
2. With a partner, yielding drops to only 5% of the critical trials compared to 37% without a partner. Although subjects report warmth and good feeling toward the partner, they typically deny that he played a role in their own independence. The partnership variation shows that much of the power of the group came not merely from its numbers, but from the unanimity of its opposition. When that unanimity is punctured, the group's power is greatly reduced. Sometimes we go along with a group because what they say convinces us they are right. This is called informational conformity. But sometimes we conform because we are apprehensive that the group will disapprove if we are deviant. This is called normative conformity. The strength of the normative factor is shown in another variation carried out by Asch. In this variation, the subject is told that because he had arrived late, he would have to write his answers. Subjects in this private response experiment are exposed to the same amount of misleading information as other subjects, but they are immune from any possible criticism by the group.
1. 1. 1.
This is why there's a lot of closet flat earthers, right? Because, again, they understand, or at least somewhat understand, right? How the earth is not a globe, and, you know, it shows that it's, you know, a level plane. But even though they know that, they keep it to themselves, again, because they don't want to be judged by their peers, you know. So it's kind of like this right here, like when he writes the answer in secret, when he's not going to be, you know, his answer's not going to be in the open for others to criticize, then he's more comfortable, you know, accepting it. So that, again, that in my opinion, that's kind of like a closet flat earther that accepts the reality, right? But at the same time is still doesn't talk about it because of the peer pressure, right? He still cares what those around him think of him, basically, you know, especially talking about the shape of the earth, you know, or not being a ball.
And this enormously reduces the pressure to conform. Conformity drops by 2/3. Asch's experiment is a classic. It reveals how people will deny what they see and submit to group pressure. It allows us not only to observe conformity, but to study the conditions that increase or reduce its occurrence.
Yeah, that's it. Again, it's not the first time that I share videos. You know, I always share videos, you know, not always, but a lot of times, you know, I've shared videos, and I usually just get a copyright if there's music in the background or something like that, for example, or maybe of a video that I played, but the video never got removed before. You know, I'm assuming the copyright just means that somebody else is going to claim their revenue because you used a little bit of their clip, right? Which I don't give a fuck because I'm not monetized anyway. But the fact that they removed the first part, if you ask me, is because, you know, I highlighted the gravity thing and how stupid it is. By the way, just to prove the point, if this is the Earth, right? They're claiming that this just existing, bends space. So this, whatever's around it, apparently you have to imagine that it's like a fabric. It's a flat fabric, but it's 360 degrees, even though it's just a flat fabric, whatever. This apparently warps that space. You guys want to give it a shot? No? Alright, I do have people passing by. I don't know if they want to give this a shot or not. Yeah, when I'm talking to the camera, I feel like people just feel like maybe I'm not approachable during that time. I don't know. I guess not. Point being is, okay, so the Earth warps space, right? So they claim that this warps space, and somehow, just by an object existing in space, space automatically starts to sink, make it sink into itself, basically. That's basically what they're claiming, you know? And basically that, you know, if there wasn't a force accelerating up to basically cancel that sinking into the black hole, you know, bending of space, that flow that creates, that acceleration, it basically just cancels that. So the Earth is accelerating up, but it's not moving. That's basically what they claim. So now they acknowledge that there's no acceleration down, but now they're saying, oh, it's not accelerating down, it's just falling. So it's still moving down, but it's not accelerating. It's not accelerating down, it's just moving down. But again, if you have something at rest like this, if you're holding it, it's at rest, right? Then you release it, boom, that's a change in velocity, that's an acceleration. You know what I'm saying? If that was true, you know, again, they literally are relying on this flow of space, flowing into a well, which is at the center of the Earth. Well, apparently, gravity is not a force from the center of the Earth. It's a flow of space into a black hole. Retarded, So yeah, anybody claiming that things fall because of their inertia, you're basically claiming constant motion down. Because obviously you acknowledge that there's no acceleration, that tells me that you understand that. But the fact that you invoke inertia now as some kind of force that's being caused by the bending and warping of space-time is fucking retarded. And not only does it contradict that objects don't move down towards the ground, it actually contradicts the claim that there's an acceleration. There's a difference in velocity by the second the higher you drop things, right? There's a difference in velocity. That velocity change being a deceleration, right? But if you claim the globe model or a stationary globe Earth model, then that deceleration will have to be an acceleration. Because the higher you drop something, the bigger the impact there is. So anybody claiming that things fall because of their inertia are fucking morons. They're claiming constant motion when there's a clear change in velocity, So you only got two options. It's either an acceleration down or a deceleration. Those are the only two options that physics shows. All these other fucking word salads and misrepresenting, it's not gonna work, Claiming that when you release an object, it just floats there, so the Earth has to accelerate up to compensate for that, the measurement of change of rate. That's a straw man and misrepresenting, So yeah, that's how retarded the bending and warping of space-time is. You have to imagine this flow of space that still moves objects without accelerating them, and it's fucking ridiculous. And the Earth is sinking into itself, but it has to accelerate up just to remain still, so it's not moving up, but it's still pressing up against you, even though it's not moving up, because it's canceling out the bending and warping of space-time. But believe me, it's still pressing up against you, even though it's not moving up against you. What the fuck, bro? That's what they want people to believe, Imagination bullshit, The fact is, the Earth is in constant motion. You release an object, and it simply loses its velocity or momentum, and it starts to decelerate. It's that simple. Now, when people claim, you need a force to make things decelerate, blah, blah, blah. No, you don't. You just need something to cause deceleration. Now, people that claim, electrostatics is I don't deny that there's electrostatics, everywhere, right? Or, that is something. So that could be the something, especially if electrostatics can affect, I'm not saying accelerate solids, liquids, and gas at the same rate. I'm just saying if electrostatics can affect matter, which it does, that could be the reason why things decelerate. Again, you don't need a force to decelerate something. You just need something to decelerate it, something, again, if that affects matter, that can easily explain why things decelerate, But again, at the end of the day, that's what we observe. We observe deceleration. The cause of the deceleration, again, that could be up for debate. But the fact that objects decelerate down, that cannot be up for debate. Again, if you want to debate that, then you better have something practical. You better be able to recreate a force that can accelerate solids, liquids, and gas without displacement, to be even taken serious, Here's the funny thing. A lot of motionless flat earthers, even if, even if they could come up with a force that can accelerate solids, liquids, and gas, right? Using electricity, right? Even if that was the case, which, by the way, if that was the case, Einstein would never have to come up with this bending and warping of space-time. They would just literally make everybody believe that this force, it can accelerate without displacement, right? The mainstream will be all over that experiment if it actually existed, right? They wouldn't have to create this fucking mind-bending explanation, Point being is, let's say they did, motionless flat earthers discovered this force that can accelerate without displacement, right? That wouldn't debunk the motion of the Earth. That would only mean that there's two possibilities now. So even if they could come up with this magical force to exist, which is not, in their head they're so deluded, that still wouldn't prove that that's the case. That would just mean that there's two possibilities now. And if that was the case, I will offer both possibilities, to people. If that was the case, I would say, gravity is not a pulling force, you know, that's coming from the center of the Earth, and it's not the bending of warping of space-time. It's actually two possibilities. It's the Earth that's in constant motion and objects simply decelerate towards it, or the Earth is flat and motionless, and there's this electrostatic force that can accelerate solids, liquids, and gas without displacement. You know, I would say both of those options if they had a practical demonstration of their claims. But they don't realize that, again, is that they don't have a practical demonstration of the claim, so it cannot even be taken serious. It's a joke. But again, even if they did, that still doesn't debunk the motion of the Earth. That would just mean we have two possibilities now. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's just giving them, you know, giving them that, you know. But we know that like those kind of forces don't exist. You know, it's pathetic. Yeah, you could say that again, Andrew. Space flowing uniformly into the center of a sphere from every possible 3D vector to that center has zero equivalence to a rocket moving physically in space past it. Zero equivalence. That's true. You know, again, they try to compare their bullshit explanations to the practical and basically just claim that it's basically the same thing, right? But it's not, you know, you're right, it's just retarded. You do have, you know, every vector, it's just fucking retarded, you know. And then where is this matter going to? If the Earth wasn't accelerating up, like, it's just gonna disappear into itself? It's gonna disappear into the own space that it warped? So nothing could exist. Like, it's just, oh my god, it's so fucking retarded. Alright, I'll play one more video of social conformity, which is the last one I wanted to show. And let me see if I don't get a copyright for this shit, but just real quick.
It's obvious that we don't intervene in many kind of emergency situations because there's too great a risk to our life or limb. But now, what happens when you're in a situation where if you don't act, there could be a risk to your life? Imagine you're in a room, and a smoke alarm goes off, smoke is pouring out from under the door, and if you don't leave that room quickly, a fire could erupt, and you could be suffocated or burned to death. It's obvious what you do. But now, again, what happens if you're in that same room, and there are 10 other people, and all of them do nothing? Do you take action when other people define the situation as do nothing rather than do something? When your life is at stake by following the herd.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Where does all that space go that's flowing to the center of the Earth? I know. People don't ask these like logical questions. But again, they already believe in black holes. So they, in their mind, oh, it's just a black hole that the Earth creates. The mass of the Earth creates a black hole. And black holes, as you all know, just suck everything into the center, right? So people are already brainwashed with ideas like of black holes and stuff, so it's easier for them to accept an explanation like this. You know, in their head it makes sense, right? But in reality it doesn't. You know, that's just a fact.
Behaving differently from your group can make you an outcast. But what would you do if you knew your group was entirely wrong? Would you, for example, sit in a burning room just because everyone else does? This hotel conference suite has been prepared for a focus group discussion on internet shopping. But all is not as it seems. We've been busy. The place is rigged with 4 hidden cameras and 6 concealed microphones. And psychology professor Dominic Abrams is watching from our control room, which we've built in an adjoining suite.
Now it's just a question of sitting and waiting. Right, so this is a questionnaire all about kind of shopping habits and everything here. So just move that off your chair.
Our first participant is Mary Mizuno, a London student who thinks she's arrived early. What she doesn't know is that behind this door, there's about to be a serious fire in the hotel kitchen. Or at least the illusion of one, created by a smoke machine and some sound effects. What will she do?
She's now noticed the smoke and is concerned. At this point, she decides to investigate to find out what's going on. She's immediately taken responsibility for figuring out what to do.
Mary does the sensible thing and evacuates quickly. She even leaves her bag and...
No, yeah, these are TV shows, I would assume, but the good thing about this, that not only can you observe this in the real world, like you don't even have to set up this, experiment. You can see people behave like this in the real world. This experiment is just to highlight that. Obviously, you can recreate this experiment and basically get similar results. Again, we're testing human psychology at the end of the day. And again, we can observe these behaviors all around us, you know what I'm saying, without having it to be an experiment or, a social experiment like this. But again, it's good to stay doubtful at the end of the day. It is TV. You shouldn't believe anything on TV that, for 100%, to be true. But again, these behaviors can be observed, and again, you can recreate these experiments as well and get your own results, basically.
Coat.
As I've never been in a fire situation before, I tried to remember the kind of things that you're supposed to do, so I left my stuff and just went out.
But Mary was on her own. This time, we've planted 7 actors who are all in on the experiment. We've said to them, when you see the smoke, do nothing. Our second participant is Lauren Heffernan, also a student. What will she do?
In this situation, she'll be following a script. The script is partly written in her mind. It's a script which is borrowed from things like sitting exams. Most situations like this have some element of expected or scripted behavior.
But what will happen to her script when we make a slightly unusual situation very unusual? Nothing to start with, so we get her attention. Now, how long before she dashes out of the room?
She's checking increasingly to see what the other people are thinking. But who can she appeal to? The answer is nobody. She turns to the norm of the group. Ignore the smoke. In a real fire, the people in this group will be in very serious danger by now.
I was looking for some sort of reaction from someone else, even just the slightest little thing, that they'd recognise that there was something, going on here. For me to kind of react on that and then do something about it, I kind of needed prodding.
Again, she's looking for others' confirmation bias, basically. She's looking for a confirmation bias, kind of, you could say that, to act on what she's experiencing, right? So when people, again, it comes back to this whole subject of the flat earth. When it starts to make sense, right, the flat earth, right, or the earth being a level plane, people start looking to others to see how they react. Especially when we have a group here. Nobody knows really how to react, but they kind of look at each other to see, because some people kind of want to laugh, but then they kind of hold it in because nobody else is laughing, so they kind of hold their laugh. So it's like, I observe this behavior all the time when I'm having conversations with people, especially groups. Everybody kind of looks at each other to see how to react, to what's being presented. And again, same thing here. She's looking at others to see how to react to the situation at hand,
She's waiting for someone else to react. Why isn't anyone else reacting? She feels uncomfortable. She doesn't want to embarrass herself by taking the lead, taking action. But something is definitely wrong.
Lauren stayed in the room for 20 minutes after spotting the smoke, concerned but immobile. The fire brigade say that if this fire had been real, even if flames hadn't burned through the door, she would have died of asphyxiation in this time. In the end, we had to ask her to leave.
Pop out here. Thanks.
I was surprised that I didn't do anything at all. I was just literally waiting. I just thought that someone else is surely going to say something soon. And because no one else did, I just didn't react at all.
We tried the experiment 10 times, and the same thing happened over and over again. If the person was on their own, they left quickly. If they were in a group of 3 or more, they stayed, rooted to the spot. The average length of time they stayed, 13 minutes. In real fires, people die because of behaviour like this. In 1979, a blaze at Woolworths in Manchester killed 10 people.
The fire occurred during the day when the store was occupied by hundreds of people. Most of those people managed to get out quite safely. The people that died in the fire were actually using the restaurant at the time.
I know, you would think at least, like, question the rest, like, oh, hey, look, there's smoke and the fire alarm went off. Like, you think we should check it out? Like, something, right? You would think something. But even just that, even just bringing it up, nobody wants to be the first one, you know? So it's pretty bizarre.
But why so many fatalities in the restaurant? Investigators eventually realized that people simply hadn't evacuated. They'd waited to pay their bills. That was their routine.
We go into a restaurant. We sit down, the waiter comes over, we choose a meal, we eat the meal, we pay for the meal, and then we leave the building. That's our script, if you like, for eating a meal.
Worse still, everyone was following the same script, and no one wanted to be the only one to stray.
One of the main reasons why people died in the Woolworths fire is because they didn't want to be the first to react. They didn't want to stand out for the crowd and went along with the crowd behaviour.
Only one person in our experiment didn't go along with the crowd behaviour, artist James McKechnie.
What's that coming out from under the table? It's a fire. I don't know. It's a fire.
We should just wait till she comes back. Yeah. She said just to wait here, didn't she?
What's that?
Wait a minute. She said just to wait here, didn't she? She's coming right down now.
James isn't going to sit in a dangerous room just because everyone else does. Or is he? The power of the group proves irresistible.
The reassurances of the rest of the group that somebody else is responsible seem to be sufficient to pull him back into place. Instead of leaving the room and calling for help, he sits back down again and waits. Now everybody's looking at the smoke, but in some ways that gives the group even more influence. After all, if everybody can see the smoke and no one's panicking, well...
The magical force of social conformity pulled them back to the chair. That's what happened, is this invisible force of social conformity pulled them back to the chair. Like, it physically pulled them back, right? That's why he went back to the chair, right?
It would be crazy for him to do it too.
James stays in the room for another 10 minutes before finally leaving.
He's fighting against the
In a
force,
real fire, he wouldn't have been able...
James.
He'd have been unconscious and close to suffocation.
Alright. That's all I had. Alright, I'm gonna try to focus on passing out some flyers now and see if anybody wants to approach the table. Try to make more eye contact. You guys want to take some info? You guys can take it with you. No? Alright. I mean, you read the question, that shows some interest, right? You read the question out loud. You would think at least, I don't know. I'm trying to think back and put myself in that situation before all of this, right? And I see a table that says, do you trust your common sense? The old me wouldn't approach the table. I wouldn't want to have the conversation on camera, obviously, because I was super introvert. I mean, still am, obviously, but obviously, you know, I like to ask questions and stuff like that. Point being is, if they offer me the flyer or, you know, the information, I would probably take it, you know. Even though I wouldn't stop at the table, I'm still curious to know what he's talking about, right? You would think, at least. I mean, that's how I like to think. But I mean, come on, a table with common sense, right? You trust your common sense. What could that be about, you know? Yeah, a lot of people don't even know what is common sense. They ask, well, what is common sense? Or what do you mean by common sense? Or, you know, stuff like that. And again, it's your senses telling you what's going on around you, and being able to discern using your senses what's going on, right? Common sense. We all have the same senses, so it's a common thing, you know. So that's common sense. What's up, Guarded Citadel? Eyes Wide Shut. What's up, Jacoys? What's up, everyone that's coming in late or came in late? Oh yeah, my first stream got removed. I don't know if you guys are aware, for the ones that just joined. So I highlighted kind of how the mainstream globe proponents accept the fact that objects don't accelerate down, you know, and it's the Earth that's accelerating up, right? But I highlighted how they contradict themselves and all that. And then I was highlighting social conformity, you know, and after the first video, you know, the stream got removed, you know, so I had to start a new stream. So kind of sucks that the first part of this video is gonna be erased, because I did go over, you know, the tides as well, because there's been some misrepresenting of my claims, you know, but I might go over it in a future video, you know. Again, there's always next time, you know. But for those of you that seen that the tides, right, how I present them, and again the claims that I make, you know. But yeah, just wanted to make that clear. So I might have to do that in the next video, you know, because the first part obviously got removed. So, all right, come on, man. Conversation, man. Come on. What's up, Plain Reality? Common sense shows we're not moving up, down, left, or right. Why does a bubble rise when you're holding it? When you're holding a water bottle? That shows you that there's motion. Air bubble would not move unless there's a force present. That's a fact. You know, that can be recreated. If you think, let me ask you this, Plain Reality. Do you agree or disagree? Water and gas will always displace under conditions of acceleration. That's a very simple question, you know. I'm literally, it's a genuine question to you. Do liquids and gas displace under conditions of acceleration? Yes or no? This will tell me if you're a reality denier or not. So if you could answer that question, that would be great. Do gas and liquids displace under conditions of acceleration? Yes or no? It's a very easy question, very easy answer, you know. You guys want to take this with you? Give it a read? You sure? All right. Bizarre.
What's going on?
Going good. And again, not just to Plain Reality, anyone in the stream or anyone that watches the rerun or the pre-recorded, right? Simple question. Do any of you deny that gas and liquids should displace under conditions of acceleration? Is there anybody that denies that? You know, in the stream right now, you know? Or again, if you're watching this, you know, after the stream is over, the recorded video, then again, you could leave it in the comments if you disagree with that fact, you know, because we can't move forward, you know, without you basically answering that simple question, you know. If you deny that gas and liquids should displace under conditions of acceleration, then you're a reality denier. You would need to have some kind of cause to recreate that acceleration without displacement to even be taken serious again. Yes, they will, but gas will displace. Okay, if gas displaces in all directions, again, you're making that claim. If gas displaces in all directions, why is gas only being displaced in one direction here? Like, what you're claiming is that the gas is gonna split itself into a bunch of little bubbles and then just split in every direction? Like, I don't know what you're saying. I'm talking about conditions of acceleration, not spinning something, you know, and I'm talking about centrifugal force. I'm talking about a direction of acceleration. Are you saying that gas expands in all directions? Because that's not what we observe. This is what we observe in reality. Do you deny that this will always happen when we actually accelerate it? Again, in free fall, if I accelerate something in free fall, the bubble moves down in that direction of the acceleration, you know. I'm able to overcome the motion of the earth for a second while it's being accelerated, but then once that acceleration is no longer there, then the motion of the earth overcomes it again and the bubble goes up again. So I literally can change the vector of the bubble utilizing motion, aka acceleration down. The bubble will go down, you know. So even accelerating in that vector down, we can still see the displacement. So if you're claiming acceleration down in free fall, is it this one? No, this is acceleration. Yeah. If you're claiming acceleration down in free fall, then you have a big issue. The bubble's not going down. It's actually going in the opposite direction of acceleration, which is the opposite of what physics shows. You know, the bubble's decelerating, still on its upwards trajectory, but very, very slow. It's decelerating. It's losing that momentum that it had of being pushed up as soon as I release it. Not only should the bubble be pushed down, but it's still moving up, you know. So again, if you deny that gas and liquids displace under conditions of acceleration, and you have nothing practical to show that, then that just shows you have a bias and you're a reality denier. You know, again, I don't mean this personal towards everyone, because again, I didn't get this right away either. You know, it took time to really think about it and to find holes in it and all this, you know. And yeah, it's like the same thing when you first come across flat earth, you know. You don't accept it right away. You know, you look into it, and you basically start to understand it, you know. And that's the same thing with this. So I get it that a lot of people are still in the middle, but I'm just gonna say this though. Anybody that's ridiculing the motion of the earth is no different than a glober ridiculing the flat earth, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because not only are you ridiculing known physics, you know, you are also having to strawman and misrepresent, like the globers do with their pizza dishes floating in outer space, you know, and all this bullshit. You have to strawman and then ridicule, again, because no real truther claims a model, right? So again, ridiculing the motion of the earth is no different, because you have to strawman now with rocket ship thrusters and fucking Ferris wheels and all this bullshit. You have to strawman to then ridicule, but you don't even realize that you're actually ridiculing physics. You know, same thing like the Glovers, you know, that ridiculed the flat Earth, right? They're ridiculing your own reality. You know, it just shows more about you than anything else. You know, so motionless flat Earth. So even if you don't claim the Earth is motionless, if you literally just ridicule the motion of the Earth, you are ridiculing reality. You know, it's that simple. You know. Oh, we had an electric junkie in the chat. Who is that? Is that plain reality? I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty sure that a lot more people will come up to the table if there wasn't a camera. But not only would that not be fun, right, to highlight, you know, people's, you know, state of mind, I guess, or state of awareness, or you know, their beliefs, right? But not only that, I will be getting harassed by security and police, and I won't have any evidence of that, you know? So there's many reasons why you should, you know, record your conversations, especially about this subject, especially when people get triggered. You know, who's to say that you don't have a conversation with someone, they get triggered, and then just because they're triggered, they call police or security on you. And we know how police and securities can get with their little ego. You know, they give them a little bit of power, a little bit of authority, and they run with it. So they think they can tell anybody what to do, you know, and again, they don't understand basic laws. So they're gonna, you know. You guys want to give it a shot? No? You guys want to take some information with you? You guys won't regret it, trust me. You guys can take it with you. All right. Again, people are really shy. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but the ladies were making eye contact, so I had to offer, you know. Let me see. The problem is that you can't prove either is wrong playing reality. Well, we could prove that objects don't accelerate in free fall. That's provable. And we could also prove that there's motion when you're connected to the earth. There's a motion transfer that's happening. There's a force present when you're connected to the earth. You know, that can be proven. So to say that, oh, we can't prove neither, it's no different than when a Glover goes to his corner and just says, well, we can't really prove either. The only way to actually prove is to go to outer space and actually see that it's not a ball, you know? So we can't prove neither, right? So that's literally where you're at right now. Oh, we can't prove either or, so it doesn't matter, right? The motion of the earth doesn't matter. So that's literally like a Glover, you know what I said? Hey, what's up?
Are you vlogging?
I'm actually doing a YouTube video.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys want to give it a shot?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, 3 very easy questions, common sense, multiple choice. So they have to do with the orientation of water. So when we have water in a bottle like this, right, and it's at rest, the water will always go to the bottom and push the air to the top, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of the orientation of the bottle, water always goes down, and that's a fact, right? Simple. Since we understand that fact about water, how I'm showing you these 2 water bottles, again, I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it more apparent, easier to see. How I'm showing you these 2, which one is not in the correct orientation?
2.
2, oh yeah, you got it, yeah. May I ask why you picked 2?
The water's
on the top, yeah, you got it, right? 'Cause the water can't stick to the top of it now, that's all, you know, so I took it like that, right? Pretty easy, right? So this next one's actually easy as well. So another thing about water, I don't know if you ever heard water always finds its level, right? You know, that's why we use these with liquid in them, right? Because I could tilt this, but the water always levels out, right? That's another physics of water, another fact. Since we understand that about water, again, if we have a container and it's at rest, which one of these 2 represents water being level, A or B? This one's even easier.
even easier, bro. I've never seen this.
Okay, before we get to this one, what could be another word for level?
Balance.
Balance, right? Horizontal is actually the one word definition for level. You know, you guys could look it up. But again, since we understand what level means, which one represents level when we're looking at the water? A or B?
Oh, I'm looking at the bottom.
Yeah, there you go. It's obvious one, right?
I was looking at all this.
Yeah. It's just the measurements. Well, here it shows deviation.
Yeah, no.
Right here it doesn't. It's horizontal.
This is showing all the inches.
Exactly. So this is the correct answer, right? So this next one, it's the hardest one, and it has to do. We're gonna test your vision. So I have 2 images here, and the reason I call them images is because one of them's a photograph and one of them's CGI. You guys know what CGI is?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So which one is the photograph from these 2?
I thought that all photographs were the sky were the CGI.
Oh, so
they put them all together like that because they can't actually take a full picture.
Oh, so you think they're both CGI?
Yeah.
Hey, you got it, man. You got it. Photographs of the Earth don't exist. You're giving me chills right now, believe it or not. So why do you think photographs of the Earth don't exist?
It's because they can't take a photo like from that far.
Okay. What if I told you the real reason why? what if I told you that showing, by the way, these are official NASA images, and they admit they make them in a computer, like you already know. But the real reason why a photograph of the Earth doesn't exist is because these images contradict basic physics. So so me walking on water, me showing you an image of me walking on water is no different than me showing you these globes. You guys want to know how we know that? And you guys know that too. You guys don't know? So NASA, they claim to have satellites orbiting the Earth, right? And that's how they're supposedly taking these images, right? So they need to know the radius of orbit. So they need to know the radius of the Earth if they're supposedly going around it, right? So they do tell us the radius of the Earth is 3,959 miles. So that means there has to be curvature every mile, and every mile it increases. So in the first mile, there's an 8-inch drop. Second mile, 32 inches. And by the third mile, there should be 6 feet of curvature. So if we actually went out to a giant lake to measure like the surface of water, right? The water's going to show us that it's going to be parallel. So if we go back to the measurements again, they're trying to tell us that the surface of water is bending 6 feet in 3 miles. But the reality is if we go to any lake that's miles across, especially when it's at rest, that water's going to be perfectly level, horizontal, you know? So this will be the #1 experiment to debunk the globe Earth claim of physical measurement of water in specific, you know, because water has properties in physics to it, how it behaves. So if I was to ask you guys respectfully, what's the #1 proof that makes you believe the Earth is a ball if not images?
I would say it's because, I mean, there's clear curvature to me. I feel like, could you see like across the Earth?
Okay, so you're saying the horizon.
Let's say even like you know how there's like a frozen lake between
sure.
or like,
which is perfectly level, by the way, but yeah.
You can see like Russia. You can't see like further. Like I'm talking about like.
Okay. So you're talking about the horizon, right? So we can't see past this point, right? What's beyond that, right? That's what you're saying, right?
What do you think about that?
Okay, so it's very simple. So if I hold this bottle right here, right, and I start moving away from you, what's going to happen to the bottle in your field of view?
It's going to get further.
But what's going to happen is it's going to look like it's shrinking, right? It's going to get smaller and smaller. So we do have a limit to how far we can see. It's called perspective. So the horizon, I don't know if you knew, is not a physical thing. It's an apparent thing. So it's just the limit of how far we can see.
I think in my head, personally,
sure.
I'm just going to go with like what seems to be common sense, because I feel like even right now, if we're not taking full pictures of the Earth, maybe not enough evidence, so it's not enough time in my life that needs to be used on.
Okay, so you think it can't be proven either or? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it can, but like
it can?
Right now it doesn't matter. Or
what's more important? Okay.
Why does it matter to us? You know?
Okay, let me hypothetically. So, if we were being lied to about this, hypothetically, right? Because I can't convince you guys in 5 minutes here, right? Hypothetically, do you think this will be something important to know? I mean, schools teach us that, you know, all this bullshit. So, you know, universities, astrophysicists, you know, all of these people will be con artists, basically.
A lot of schools need to be taught, because it's like, what are they really teaching you? It's more of a game of memorization.
Right.
It's nothing like too deep.
Right. Okay. Before you guys go, I mean,
I think there's more questions about other things that should be solved before that, I guess.
So you think there's something else that's more important than?
I mean, like, this is one of the oldest questions that we've had. But like,
yeah. And I would say
the
this
Earth is working fine right now.
Yeah, because it's a level plane that's not a ball. That's why it's working. If we lived on a ball, we will fall off of it. You know, water wouldn't bend around a ball. Have you heard of the term sea level?
I mean, but we don't know, like, who are we to know we perfectly know how gravity works, or, you know, I don't know. So I feel like we should just chill on this.
Okay, sure. Well, just before you guys go, because I know you guys seen again images or maybe GoPro cameras of people using, you know, to warp, you know, the horizon, right? So this is what the horizon looks like without a GoPro, 20 miles in the sky, which is 4 times higher than airplanes fly. Another thing, the horizon rises with you again, because it's an apparent thing. When you rise up, the horizon never goes below your feet. It's always in front of you, because you're only seeing an extended plane. You know, again, you're increasing your limit of perspective when you elevate. And again, the horizon should never rise to eye level like this and remain horizontal as well. Again, the reason you can't see past it, because again, you have a limit. So when you elevate, you increase that limit, but you still have a limit.
I'm trying to think, because still, I can see how, like,
sure,
the vision could still be curving back in these photos. And that's like the skyline right there, and this is the dark sky.
Sure.
This one's kind of like a less convincing photo, I would say.
Oh, obviously, because of the clouds have different shapes. But these two are more
This one,
apparent.
I think, is less convincing, because just the way that it's going.
How would you describe the horizon here, geometrically?
I would say also GoPros.
So here, let me show you GoPros.
Who knows how
So this is the only place you'll see. This is what GoPros do.
Yeah, GoPros.
Yeah, exactly. Action cameras, any action camera. And if you ask me, it was deliberate. The fact that they use these cameras when they use high altitude observations. You know, they're using the same effect, but when they're higher up. You know, when
yeah,
they're
well,
this
that's
high.
obviously an effect, but I mean, I can still see like curvature. I think part of our vision and perspective getting further away could also be our vision like getting used to curvature. I don't know.
Okay, well,
who knows how our vision exactly works?
Well,
I mean, our doctors have done enough, but we don't know 100% how our body works.
You do know that? Have you familiar with eye exams?
Yeah, but we don't know everything about the brain.
No, we don't know anything about the brain, but we can understand perspective. That's my thing. So eye charts, when you go to the DMV to get a driver's license, for example, they test how far you can see, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's all has to do with perspective and visual acuity, because again, the horizon is just the limit of perspective, because we have a limit. That's how you're able to test your eyes to see if you're able to drive, right? So again, horizon is not a physical thing. So besides the horizon, is there anything else? I mean, to
me, I just feel like how would a disc be in the sky?
A disc? Okay, so that's a misrepresentation.
Or a box or whatever.
Okay, so the Earth, what's outside of the Earth? Nobody knows what's outside of the Earth. So the environment outside of the Earth is...
What do you think the Earth is?
The Earth is a level plane that's in constant motion and is contained somehow. So we have air pressure here, right? Gas, right?
Yeah.
Air pressure. We have 14.7 psi. That tells me that the air is being pressed, is being contained, basically. They're trying to say it's gravity holding it in. But again, gravity as a pulling force doesn't exist. So the Earth is a contained system that's moving. So when you release an object, it's not the object that accelerates towards the ground, it's the ground that just comes up to meet it. Because we're all in constant motion right now. That's why you have weight. The ground is pressing up against your feet right now. It's not you pressing down against the Earth. So that's the reality. That's what physics shows. You know, trust me, I've been in this subject for over 6 years, going on 8 years, but that's one of the biggest lies, believe it or not, that objects accelerate down in free fall. Because from that theory of gravity, they're able to explain airplanes flying level, air pressure, you know, staying to the ball, and water bending around a ball, and planets orbiting. It's all on that premise of a magical force that accelerates this down, but the reality is it's the Earth that's moving up to it. From a globe perspective, because they acknowledge this actually.
Yeah, we're about to dip right now, but
no worries,
my
man.
final thoughts.
Sure.
I think that there's just other problems in the world that we should be solving. You know.
Okay.
I feel like this just isn't like a main problem.
Okay. I would say that's your opinion, and I respect your opinion. But yeah, thanks for the chat, by the way. Yeah. Yeah. You too, man. Hey, thank you, man. All right. Oh, that was a good combo. Let me see how much time I got left in my... Yeah, I'm gonna wait like another 15 minutes, see if I could get one more. Yeah. Oh shit, I gotta put all this away. I thought he was gonna be a flat earther when he said that photographs of the Earth from space don't exist. That's why I kind of got chills, you know. But then, you know, but the fact that he already knew that, it's a good thing, you know. So now I highlighted the real reason why photographs don't exist. You know, most people think that will accept that fact that photographs of the Earth from space don't exist. They literally think it's just because they can't go high enough. Even though most of these people believe they went to the moon and they have satellites in other fucking galaxies supposedly. We just can't get high enough to get a full photograph of the Earth, you know, so it has to be Photoshopped, you know, so. Yeah, it's crazy, like, watching these mental gymnastics, you know, it's crazy, I'm telling you, man, it's bizarre, you know, pretty bizarre. I didn't even get my flyer, fuck. Oh, well. Yeah, it was just too, I mean, he didn't really seem that interested, but because obviously this subject is rattling his whole world right now, especially, right? He did not expect that, that's for sure. He did not expect that conversation. That was pretty good though. Gravity is a theory, not a fact, and we all stick to the Earth due to electromagnetism. To say that electromagnetism sticks you to the Earth is no different than saying gravity sticks you to the Earth, by the way. Flat Earth Gary, just a heads up. You require a magical force that can accelerate solids, liquids, and gases at the same rate, just like the bending and warping of space-time. So yeah, you could believe you stick to the Earth like how Globers believe water sticks to the globe, you know, but in reality it's the Earth that's pressing up against the water, and that's why the water's level, you know. It's a level perpendicular to that motion of the Earth. So shit. Let me change my battery real quick on my action camera. Because I don't want to get another conversation and completely miss it on this one. So let me just change the battery. I have one more. Shit. Because around this time, if I get another conversation, it's going to cut off.
Es una tienda de recuerditos, por eso no tiene. Supongo que.
And I still have like another 15 minutes probably, but I don't want to risk this.
I'm a fall back.
If you think electromagnetism can make water stick to the earth, then get a water bottle or a container. Using your electromagnetism, again, without motion of the container, make the water stick to the top. Using electromagnetism. If electromagnetism makes water stick to the earth, make this stick to the top using electromagnetism. Until then, that's just a claim. That's, if you don't have the practical, again, it's just bullshit. You know, that would completely throw off my first question if that was true. Because apparently the water could be at rest with the water sticking to the top in your mind. You know, using electrostatics, right? So that defies physics. And unless you have something practical to demonstrate, that claim defies physics. Water sticking to the earth, whether it's a flat plane or a globe. Water sticking to matter is not reality. You know, especially big amounts of bodies of water, of large amounts, you know, of water, you know. Because I already know the fucking trolls are gonna get like a little fucking drop, or you know, and then using something to stick to it. Like, look, a drop can stick to this, using the surface tension and or you know, electrostatics, that little friction that it creates, or I don't know what the fuck, but I already know the trolls. They're gonna bring out, you know, drops of water sticking to things. I'm talking about like a large body of water, or even like this, like a water bottle. Make the water stick to the top, you know, and change the levelness of water as well, you know. You should be able to do something like this, right, with electrostatics. If something else is, if electrostatics is sticking water to the earth, then you should be able to use electrostatics to make water do this without accelerating the container, right? Well, I don't have a theory. Reality shows that objects don't accelerate in freefall. They decelerate. And reality shows that the only time a force is present is when we're in contact with the Earth. In freefall, there's no force present, which is why there's no acceleration. So that's not a theory. Those are facts, you know, of reality. Now, if you want to theorize and believe that it's something else causing these things, then the burden of proof is on you to provide this magical force, you know, that can create what we experience, which was no displacement in free fall and the accelerating of the force pushing up against us. You know, so. How long was my other stream? Alright, truth, it is a theory too. Okay, fine, I'm just saying gravity isn't. Yeah, gravity is just a theory. That's true. Yeah, that's a good one, man. Just like there's no theory that water always finds its level when contained, you know, and there's a force present, you know, because you could have water contained in a bottle, right, and shake it up and release it. Water's not gonna find its level just because it's being contained, right? You need a force acting on the water to give it that orientation so that water could displace relative to the motion. So So a container, in saying that, oh, water will always find its level when it's contained, that's not true. Because again, you could shake the bottle and release it in free fall, and it's not gonna level itself again, and it's contained. You know, again, you need that force when you're holding it, like on Earth here, to create this displacement. You know what I'm saying? So it's very simple. Very simple, very simple. Oh, I mean, hate coming from me or from... I'm just explaining basic reality. I don't know if you're referring to me when you're using the word hate, you know. And the earth is an airplane in motion. It's not a belief, it's what objective reality shows. Yep. KK, static void, nice try. Oh my god. I don't know why people are trying to misrepresent me like I'm this angry, you know, trigger person. Like, it's kind of weird, kind of funny. Like, this is nothing close to how I can actually get when I'm angry. Like, oh man. Yeah, just straight talk, literally.
Well, we can go there and down or here and over.
When I talk shit about like people, I usually do it generally, and I usually attack the claims. So for example, like if anybody claims or mocks the motion of the earth, it's no different than a glober mocking the flat earth. It's retarded, you know. Again, I don't mean that towards anyone in specific. It's just my opinion based on the facts that are shown, you know, that reality shows us, you know. So yeah, a lot of people take things too personal, and again, they get too triggered, they get too emotional and everything, and like a child, literally like a child. They can't control their emotions, and they just run off of them, you know. Oh man, let's see. Wish I was checking to see how long our other stream was. 48. How long is this one? Oh, hot dog, I could see it. No,
okay, so they told me to do a resignation letter on my
Alright. Just gonna wait about 10-15 more minutes, see how it goes. Yeah, you could even say that. With JC, the people who have been presented this information and still deny it deserve no better than anti-flat earthers. Right? Flat Earth Gary, I appreciate the straight talk. Someone asked me why I have weight. My thought is electromagnetics. Can't prove it. That's all I was trying to say. I didn't come in hot. I got attacked quickly. You didn't get attacked by me, that's for sure. I mean, if you thought that I attacked you, again, I don't mean this personally, like, or any hate, then you're probably a snowflake. You know, if you thought that I attacked you, you know, but nah, this was not an attack. It was just answering your questions practically, you know, and straight to the point, you know. No hate towards anyone, like. You know, that is a good question to ask people that question the motion of the earth. Ask them, question the motionless earth and see where they stand, right? A lot of the times, or at least now that I'm realizing, a lot of people that question the motion of the earth or ridicule the motion of the earth also don't claim a motionless earth. I would say that's kind of like a tactic, which not really, but because you could be in the middle, you know? But what is weird for the people that mock the motion of the earth, that in the middle, why don't you mock the motionless earth? Or why don't you question the motionless earth, you know, as much as you do the motion of the earth? You know, that's what kind of gives people away, you know, when they start ridiculing, you know, the one side, but they don't ridicule the other side, you know, even though they don't claim it, you know. And it's weird, why don't you claim it then? You're ridiculing the other side, why don't you claim this, the motionless? You know, if you're ridiculing the other one, I mean, you would look fucking stupid if you ridiculed both, right? Because where do you stand? What's the third option? Are you going with the bending and warping of space-time? If anything, that's like the third option. The earth is moving up, but it's not moving. Objects don't accelerate down, but they are moving. Retarded. Yeah, you can recreate weight in any vector utilizing motion. So when something's pressing up against something else, depending on the speed of that, the motion, that's going to dictate how much resistance and how much pressure is being applied, you know? So your body is resisting the motion of the earth right now. So that resistance is what we will call weight. If you have more mass, then you have more resistance, aka you're going to have more weight, you know? So again, everything is resisting the motion of the earth, therefore it has weight, you know. Things want to remain motionless, you know. Again, I don't know the exact reason to why things, or again, there could be something in the background medium that people like to claim is electrostatic. That could be the reason why things decelerate or want to be still, you know. But yeah, that could be recreated, recreating weight in any vector using motion. However, you cannot recreate weight in any direction using electrostatics. Or better yet, reorientate the effects of buoyancy using electrostatics, you know. Alright, let me just go over some of the comments. They're scrolling up kind of fast here, so, and then probably call it after that. Mad Mac, you don't see bubbles rising when you're holding a water bottle? Hold the water bottle with the air bubble and flip it upside down. You're gonna see that bubble will get pushed to the top. The question is, here's a question for motionless flat earthers again. Just ask them basic questions and then they fall apart. Is buoyancy a push? Again, anyone that denies that, it's a reality denier. You know, buoyancy is a push, right? The effect. So when you have an air bubble rising, what's pushing it? What's pushing the air bubble, right? It's the medium that surrounds it, which will be water. You know, if you have air bubble in the water. You guys want to give it a shot? Yeah. All right, nice. You guys could do it as a group if you want.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So 3 very easy questions that have to do with common sense. Right. They actually have to do with the orientation of water. Okay. So when we have air and water in a bottle like this and it's at rest, the water will always go to the bottom and push the air to the top, regardless of the orientation of the bottle. Yeah. You know, that's what happens. That's reality, right? So I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier to see, more apparent. So how I'm showing you these two, like this, which one of these 2 bottles is not in the correct orientation?
This one.
Okay, yeah, you got it. You agree with him?
Yeah.
Yeah? Why do you guys say number 2?
Because the bottom of the bottle looks like water at the top.
Yeah, the water's at the top, right? The water can't stick to the top, that's obvious. So I actually took it like this, yeah. Yeah, you guys got it. That's pretty easy, right? Yeah. So this next one's actually even easier. Again, it has to do with water as well. Have you guys ever heard of water always finds its level?
Yeah.
So I could deviate the bottle, but water always finds its level, you know, again, because it has no form, you know? It always forms an equal surface. What could be another word for level? Try to use a difference. Balance is a good one. Yeah. Any other? The one word definition will be horizontal, because I could have a straight line, but if it's in a slope, it's not level. It has to be a horizontal straight line, you know, and water shows us that, you know. So since we understand that fact about water as well, when it's contained and at rest, which one of these 2 represents level as we know it when we're looking at the water, A or B? Yeah, that's the obvious one, right? Yeah, pretty easy, right? So this next one is the hardest one. So this is the one that's really gonna test your common sense. So this next one, I have 2 images here, and the reason I call them images is because one of them is a photograph and one of them is CGI. You guys know what CGI is? Yeah. Yeah? All right, so which one is the photograph from these 2? You guys can pick them up too if you want to see them closer.
I feel like it's gotta be this one.
Do you think this one's a photograph?
This one's definitely the photograph. That's definitely CGI.
Okay.
I think that's the photograph.
Okay, all of you are saying this is a photograph, right? All right, so this was actually a trick question. They're both CGI. Yeah. I don't expect people to get this one because it's obviously impossible to tell just by looking at it, but there is 3 reasons why I asked this question. So the first reason is just believing someone opens the door to being deceived, right? Because you guys believe me that one wants a photograph, that influenced your choice, right? The second reason is if we want to determine something is real, an image is not good enough. Because if I showed you an image of me flying or me walking on water, would you believe I could do those things? No, especially if an image defies physics, you gotta throw that image away, right? So it leads me to the main reason why I'm doing this. Do you guys believe the Earth is a ball?
Is a ball?
A ball like this.
Yes.
Yeah, right? So NASA actually admits that they don't take photographs of the Earth from space. They actually admit they're all CGI. These are actually official NASA images. Yeah, so the reason and the main reason why they admit that they can't take photographs of the Earth is because the real reason is because these defy physics, basic physics. You guys want to know how we know that? So NASA claims to have satellites orbiting the Earth, right? So
I was actually just watching a TikTok on this last night.
So NASA claims to know the radius of the Earth because they're supposedly going around it, right? So they do tell us the radius of the Earth is 3,959 miles, which means there has to be curvature every mile based on the radius. So in the first mile there's an 8-inch drop, second mile 32 inches, and by the third mile there's 6 feet of curvature. And it has to increase because they're claiming a curve, not a slope. So that curvature has to increase. So by 6 feet, again, if we went out to a large body of water like a lake that was miles across to physically measure for this curvature, again, we understand how water behaves. The physics of water is going to show us that the water is going to be parallel to anything above it, right? But they're trying to tell us that every lake on Earth is bending 8 inches per mile square. But this will be the #1 experiment to debunk the globe Earth claim, a physical measurement of the Earth, you know, using physics, water. So if I was to ask you guys respectfully, what's the #1 proof that makes you believe that the Earth is a ball?
What?
What's the #1 proof that makes you guys believe that the Earth is a ball?
A ball?
A ball. You believe the Earth is a sphere?
Of course it is.
Yeah, why do you believe that?
Well, because science says it.
What science?
Observers, people have taken pictures of it.
That's what we're talking about. All the pictures they're showing us.
Out of it, it'll turn into a circle.
No, but that's all those images are showing.
If you go in the plane, you can see the curvature.
Oh, I actually have
How do you explain the aurora borealis?
Oh, I don't know what the electromagnetism is coming from the north. I don't know much about it, so I wouldn't give a comment on that. But that doesn't prove the Earth is a ball, I would say. I would say water proves that it's not a ball. You know, so again, what convinces you guys? You know,
There's I saw like a video on it. There's like a light video and like the light changes, like it doesn't stay.
A laser experiment.
Yeah.
So I would say I don't know if you guys seen the Netflix documentary on this. By the way, it's Behind the Curve. I think I would call it a mockumentary, and the reason why is because they focus on laser experiments. What happens when you shine a laser through water? Does it go straight? Exactly. There's refraction. So when you shine a laser through the moisture of the air, there's always going to be refraction. So laser experiments are they're being pushed on purpose because you're going to get an inconclusive answer regardless. A physical measurement like this, though, we could create this level structure and physically measure.
I want to hear it.
What about like the planets and?
Oh, okay. So
I've
yeah.
also been
So
there.
yeah, so everything that they're showing us about outer space is actually CGI as well, just like the globe Earth pictures.
Yeah, but you can see when you're in it.
No. This is what the stars actually looks like. Look.
But when you're driving,
yeah,
it's a circle.
No, you're seeing a flat circle around you. That's because that's the limit of our perspective. That's the horizon, which is horizontal.
Right, but it goes like this.
Yeah, it goes around you. That's their limit of view. You're at the center of your field of view, so you create a circle, a flat circle around you. That doesn't mean it's curving. By the way, this is what the stars look like. Nobody knows what's outside of the Earth. The stars are reflecting, if you ask me, on some kind of... People like to claim it's a dome, but I personally don't know what's containing the Earth. But the stars, this is using 83 times zoom, by the way. And these are the planets, using the exact same zoom, telling us that they're both in the same distance from us. So they're no more than a few thousand miles, if you ask me. And what are they? I don't know. They just rotate above. So they I don't know if you heard of the constellations, right? Yeah, the reason why they're called the constellations, the stars, is because they're constant. There's no parallax. So they always reset every year. So if we were shooting through space, spinning at 4 different directions, we would see parallax every night. Every night sky should be different. But the fact is that the stars are constant, and that's why they're constellations. The difference between planets and stars is that these have their unique paths. So they're not fixed with all the other ones. They have their own rotations above us. But again, what are these lights in the sky that twinkle? I don't know. You know, what's the source? If you ask me, whatever created this place, because this is a creation. That's another reason why they lied to us. So this place is a creation, and this sky I think it was there so that we learn how to navigate this place. You know what I'm saying?
Like the moon landing's fake and stuff?
Oh yeah, it's laughable, 100%. The reason why they even did all that is to convince people that water bends. You know, because they could easily go to a lake and measure this curvature. Why don't they, right? Because it'll debunk their own claim. Physics debunks their claim.
So what's your reason that they want to tell us water bends? Like, why do you think they want to do that?
Because they want you to believe your reality is not what it actually is. So if they can make you believe that your reality is something that it's not, then they're going to make you believe, like in the economy, for example, that we need to live this way and we need to do this, you know, because the experts are telling us. So it's kind of a cheap shot on our common sense. That's why they tell us when we're very young, when Santa Claus, you know, they tell us about Santa Claus. They also tell us about the globe in school. And it's just like a cheap shot on our...
Santa's real though.
Right? Hey, that defies physics, the reindeer, you know, all that. Again, I ask people, why don't you believe in Santa Claus? And a lot of people won't know how to articulate why. And it defies physics. How can you fit billions and billions of presents in a bag? How can you travel to billions of houses? You know, it defies physics. Reindeer flying, you know, that's the reason why Santa Claus is bullshit, because it defies physics. So that's why the globe Earth is bullshit, because it defies physics.
You don't think there's ever been people like in space?
No.
And they see the Earth like is a circle?
No, it's all astronauts are lying, 100%. The people under them, like the people at mission control, right, that's supposedly looking through camera, those people don't have to be lying. They could just believe what they're being told, but astronauts are 100% lying. That's a fact.
How do you explain gravity then?
Oh, gravity is the motion of the Earth. So when you release something, it doesn't accelerate down. It's the Earth that comes into contact.
So you're saying we're moving upwards?
That the ground is pressing up against your feet right now. So the Earth is like in constant motion. You know how water's level, right? Water's level is perpendicular to the motion vector.
What's pushing us up then?
Oh, it's the Earth. What's the mechanism of the Earth's motion? That's unknown. So nobody knows what's outside of the Earth.
So like astronauts that go up in the air, they just see a flat surface.
Oh yeah, they're definitely seeing this. But they show GoPro cameras like this to show people that they're supposedly seeing curvature. But this is what the horizon looks like. So they're definitely seeing this, but then they show us this. So they're lying 100%.
Believe that the Earth is flat.
I don't believe. I understand that the Earth is a level plane in constant motion.
You understand that?
Water in specific, water being level and displacing.
So like when gravity pulls things towards the center, you think it's just things going up?
I don't know if have you heard of Einstein's theory of relativity? Right. Yeah, have you heard of it? He acknowledges the reason why they had to come up with that theory is because objects don't accelerate. So when you release this, have you ever seen an air bubble in water? Right? When you have an air bubble in water, right? Air bubble rises. I don't know if you knew that air bubble moves in the direction of acceleration. So if I have an air bubble like this, right, in the center, and I accelerate this way, the bubble moves in the direction of acceleration, right?
What about
So when you release an object, air bubbles should be pushed down in the direction of acceleration, but bubbles actually just freeze.
Well, because it's less dense than water, less dense things
exactly.
rise, so air rises, not because of gravity,
but
because it's less dense.
Exactly, but when you release it, that motion disappears of the bubble. When it's in free fall, the reason why it's called free fall is because it's a free body, free from any force.
That's the thing though, so like you say, like gravity goes, like you want to talk physics, like 9.38, so all things fall at that rate because it's falling downwards.
Yeah, I would say...
That's why you say there's a point where there's free motion. How would you explain that?
What motion?
Like, let's say if I throw something up, and then if free falls for 1 second, there's no forces acting on it, but then it goes back down.
It loses momentum.
Shouldn't it keep going up then?
No. So if we're moving right now, hypothetically, at 1,000 miles an hour with the Earth, right? If I'm holding this up like this, technically this is moving as well, because everything's moving, right? That's attached to the Earth, right?
Yeah.
When I release this, it automatically starts to lose that speed or that momentum.
Explain this then.
So it decelerates. Objects decelerate.
That came to a point where it came to... I threw it up at a certain...
You gave it a force, and then it started losing momentum.
So then the Earth came up at the same time? That doesn't make sense.
No. Everything's moving right now. When you move this, you're giving it an extra force that goes up, but then it starts to lose the momentum. If you apply a harder force, it goes higher, right?
Come on.
Depending on the force, that's going to lose its momentum eventually, and eventually the Earth is going to catch up to it. So it doesn't go down, it just decelerates.
So where's all the... like? That's kind of flawed logic.
Why?
Where does, like, first of all, how does the space keep going up? Like, our floor keeps moving up.
Well, you need to look up at the Einstein theory of relativity. Have you heard of the bending and warping of space-time?
Yeah.
So their explanation from a globe that the Earth is moving, again, because from a globe, if the Earth is pressing up against us, that will mean the Earth is expanding. So that doesn't make any sense, right? This is where Einstein comes in. He says that Earth creates like a black hole in space at the center of it. So the Earth is being sucked into itself, but it's accelerating up to basically cancel that out.
What about
So mainstream acknowledges that there's an acceleration up and there's no acceleration down. But they use the bending and warping of space-time to basically give a mind-numbing explanation for that from a globe perspective. Because the reality is Earth is just a level plane that's moving. they have to invoke the bending and warping of space-time to fit this model.
Boat, like let's say I went off the coast of California
Sure.
and I got in a boat and just kept going straight. Would I just...
That's not allowed. I'm glad you're asking that question. Have you heard of the Antarctic Treaty? No. So it's over 47 nations have signed this treaty that prevents any independent explorers from going south or in a straight line, like you're saying. So if there is a dome or something enclosing this place, we can't find it because we'll be stopped.
There's an edge of Earth.
I wouldn't call it an edge. I would say an end. So because we are being contained, we can't leave the Earth. We have air pressure here, and the only way
it's just like a spot you just can't go to.
Exactly. But nobody's ever found this. Again,
How does Earth look like to you then?
I don't know. All I know is it's an extended plane. Nobody knows the layout of it. It's just a level plane that who knows how far it extends.
So someone on, like, I think Nigeria's on, like, roughly on the other side of the Earth.
Sure, on the other side.
So
that's a good
if we're
term.
like almost on the opposite of like Nigeria, like what are they just spread out? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Rather
it's
than
just spread out.
behind us?
Here, let me show you this map. But this is a PSYOP as well. But I'm sure all of you have seen this map before. But this is just the globe flattened out. So this is a simple illustration of what the Earth could look like if all the layouts of the continents are what they're telling us. The fact is, the sizes, I don't know if you knew, an accurate map of like the continents doesn't exist. So different maps.
Globe, have you, like the surface area
So the
of
Mercator
globe,
map and all
you
these
can't
maps.
spread that out
exactly,
completely, so they
because
spread out Africa.
Because they're trying to spread it out from a globe perspective. The fact is, this will be a more accurate layout of the Earth, but in reality, this is not it. It could be completely different still. You know, it could be extra continents over here. There could be other ponds over here. That's the reason why they don't let us go south. People think there could be other Earth ponds in this reality. You know. So again, we're probably not the only pond here. That's my point. And extraterrestrials, extra terra meaning extra land, could be here. Extraterrestrials are probably here, not up there. You know, that's where the extraterrestrials come from. Extra terra, extra Earth. You know, so. I mean, you guys have any questions for me? I mean,
I just still don't get like let's say you're on like the edge of Earth, like you just like fall into space.
No, the Earth is being. You have to go through this. Again, we have to find this containment first. The wall, because we have air pressure here, right? Have you guys heard of the second law of thermodynamics? It has to do with entropy. So in order to maintain two opposing pressure systems, like the tire in your car has a higher pressure, you need a solid barrier. Exactly. So if they're claiming outer space is a negative pressure next to Earth's pressure without a solid barrier, that defies physics. So the second law of thermodynamics debunks outer space next to the Earth's pressure without a solid barrier. So the Earth is being contained somehow. I don't know how.
So the atmosphere makes less sense to you than like. So the atmosphere is what, in your theory, is that
it's being contained, and that's why the air has pressure because it's pressing up against.
But the only way to explain the atmosphere is gravity, because they're pulling everything together. Gases would just dissipate to space.
I would say that gravity, again, a pulling force that accelerates objects towards the ground.
But it would pull it down like this, not like a dome.
That's my point, though. And a force that can accelerate things towards the ground
so if this is
doesn't
center of
exist.
the Earth, if it's in my hand, air is pulling it all around.
You should look up the Einstein's theory of relativity, or look up on YouTube. Right, here, let me give you guys this flyer. And then you guys can maybe check it out later. I go to universities and have this conversation. I mean, you guys have a good one.
I'm gonna head out too.
Here, you can have one too here. Check it out. Yeah. All right, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. I'm gonna just start wrapping it up. And yeah. Oh yeah, that was a really good conversation at the end. I'm glad that I switched the battery. You know, that was good. I'm glad. Yeah, it sucks that the first video got taken down. You know, it would have been cool if it was all just one together, because I did go over a pretty good points in the beginning. But this last conversation was pretty good, actually. I had like a crowd of like, you know, it was like 4 or 5 of them, and then like 4 other people came, so it was like 10 of them at once, you know. So, and they were all defending the globe. But yeah, that was pretty great. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it now. And yeah, you got the pizza dish, flat Earth, right? Alright, so we got these two down here. Fuck me. Okay, we got these two. This one. Yeah, and then one of the guys, the main guy that was like came up to the table and was talking, he even said, "Oh, I was just looking at some TikToks about this. I'm assuming about the shape of the Earth." He was, or TikToks. I don't know what he said exactly, but it was pretty cool. I'm already calling. I do see some securities walking towards me kind of fast, so we'll see. Either tell me, I mean, I'm already leaving, but tell me anything. Oh no, they turned. Oh yeah. Alright. Shit, I can talk to him. It's kind of crooked. Oh man. Yeah, those two conversations were definitely worth it, so yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take this now. I don't want to just throw it. There is a trash hole. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and call it now. Thanks again for everybody that showed up, to everyone that likes the videos. You know, I know it doesn't, you know, really mean much, you know, in this truth movement, but believe it or not, you know, new people that come to the channel, you know, it could encourage them to look at the video, you know, believe it or not. But yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.